Hello everyone, I'm Rob Mithra. It's that time of the month. It's time for Dark Herald update. So, it's the Pariah this time, which is great. Back to Inverted Mountain, which is okay. But it's a really interesting update. So, again, came on time. 4 minutes? I think he had 4 minutes this time. So, it is what it is, right? He made it, I guess. He kept his word. It's the very last day of June, so let's go ahead and look at what we have here. So, starts off with the Gambler's Chest expansion mini update, which is fine. It has been a long and dark road full of sculpting, unexpected twists, development, and a level of unparalleled scope creep never before seen on our humbled tabletops. Copy editing of all the game's card assets has begun. Final layouts of the rulebook is underway. Thankfully, all of the story events are complete. Now I'm just working my way through the game rules. Through the game rules and introductory sections. I mean, working your way through the game rules, that could quite still be a lot. But thank you for extended patience. You're nearly truly there. Whatever. 97, whatever. Doesn't matter. Sculpting is finished. Game rules and content finished. Wait. Now working his way through the game rules and introductory events. So I guess he's got all the rules done, but he's just got to do layouts for the rules. Okay. Artwork is finished. Card layout. Some cards need their artwork formatted and added to them. This is a minor but tedious task. Rulebook layout. All story events are finished. All rules are finished. What are you talking about? Thankfully, all the story events are complete, and now I am just working my way through game rules and introductory sections. Okay, so this says game rules and content finished. And then it says rulebook layout. Story events are finished. All game rules are finished. So why does it say up there that you are now just working your way through the game rules and or whatever? Whatever. Okay, but their layout and director pass is yet to be complete. Okay. Let's see, game trays and box mockups are complete, and to send our final asset count so this can be finalized. Okay, whatever. Most people don't even use the game tray. Whatever. The Pinup painting contest. Our second painting contest will begin July 14th. To mark this occasion, we are finally releasing the remainder of single-release pinups we produced to fulfill Kickstarter rewards. They will be available on our web store in a few minutes after I post this, which was true. That did happen. I tried to ping everybody in the Discord, or my Discord at least. I know the Lanterns Rain Discord also does it and everything, but I tried to ping everybody, so hopefully you got in on that. I was able to grab, the only one I wanted was Pinup Butcher, so I was able to grab Pinup Butcher by itself, single release, so that's neat. So here we go, Dark Herald number 6. Greetings again, everyone, and welcome back to another Dark Herald. Today we continue our ascent of the foreboding Inverted Mountain. However, as you push your body to its limits, scaling the mountain, take care to steel your mind as well. Physical challenges are not the only obstacles the survivors will have to contend with on their upwards journey, and malice is a way of exploiting the smallest openings in a person's mental fortitude. Okay, so this is the Pariah. There we go. These are old pictures. We've seen all these before. The Pariah is a Node 1 nemesis, so that means it's a butcher replacement. Inextricably linked to the mysterious White Speaker cult. He is an outcast, exiled from the faith for stumbling upon forbidden knowledge, and a downtrodden man without a home, forced to commit heinous acts in order to survive. So I'm assuming what this is he's discovered some, copying blood magic. It would appear that that's what he stumbled upon. He's able to copy things, which is very interesting. He's probably also, stumbled upon the whole mind, attacking your mind, right? That's why they said you'll need to steal your mind. So, those are probably what's forbidden now. So I guess this is the cult, but this could also be the survivors. I'm assuming this is his intro event here. you can see he's murdered someone, probably wants their blood, and you can see the hands on the back, which is pretty interesting. So, perhaps your initial judgment of him, I don't know why this is always capitalized, but it always is. He, him, it's going to be capitalized throughout the whole entire update. Perhaps the initial judgment of him was too harsh. It is clear that in some way, in some form, he has been gravely misunderstood. Other strangers have made their way to the lantern light before. Some of them have even joined the settlement and now stand as respected members of the community. Perhaps with time, the Pariah will be considered just as valuable an asset to your burgeoning society. Okay, so this is him begging for forgiveness, or begging for his life. Hoping that he can join the settlement to stick around with you for a little bit. The others are hiding something from you. The gifts he gave you, so wondrous and numerous, are all gone. They must have taken them. Was it when you were out on the hunt? It's just as he said. They can't be trusted. None of them can be trusted. See, so he's manipulating you into thinking these things. The earlier update, the Kickstarter pitches explain this, right? He's like a foreboding thing that menaces like your mind and fills you with doubt and stuff. So he makes you think things that aren't truly. He's just controlling your emotions and stuff, and makes you think weird things and weird thoughts. But and so another settlement falls under the machinations of the Pariah. Unlike other nemesis, this says nemesises, which is it's just other nemesis. The Pariah takes a keen interest in the day-to-day goings-on of the settlement, a master manipulator. The Pariah can easily bend a survivor to his will if left unchecked. Should you decide to confront the Pariah, you may find that your survivors have become so tied up by toxic bonds and dependencies that they are willing to take up arms against him. In fact, who's to say that his gifts won't tempt you, or won't tempt your play group itself into keeping him around for a few lantern years too many. So here's where you get the simulacrum, which are copies. Appears they're just blood copies. They're not perfect copies. So this is the Twilight Sword. You can see it's the same artwork, but it looks like it's made with blood, which is his blood magic. Slow, cumbersome, devastating too. If you wound with this, the force of the blow shatters the blade. Gain 3 bleeding tokens and archive this. So this way of gaining bleed. Maul Simulacrum, Halberd Simulacrum. These are all just neat things. They all do pretty much the same thing they're made the copy of. So this is the Thunder Maul on a perfect hit. Place a token on this. Third token is placed here. The monster is knocked down. Gain 3 bleeding tokens and archive this. This doesn't break your arm at least. The Halberd Simulacrum. Unwieldy Dash. I think this means like unwieldy. When instead of doing the normal unwieldy thing, maybe you do bleed 1. But that doesn't make any sense because that would be a semicolon, because we already have that. We've seen things where it says like on collision, semicolon, do this. Those already exist. So you would think that that would just be a semicolon. So I think it's probably a typo, perhaps. I don't know. So -2 movement. After attacking, if standing, you may move up to 2 spaces. I don't know exactly when this even triggers. After attacking, it should at the end of your attack. Is that what this means? At the end of your attack? After attacking, I don't know when exactly that triggers. Technically, after your attack or after attacking, you could technically do that after rolling reaction because you would still be attacking, but you already attacked once. I think this should say at the end of your attack if standing. Seems weird. I don't know exactly when that would trigger. So. However, if you do decide to excise the Pariah from your settlement, he won't hesitate to use your emotions as a cudgel against you. The Pariah is endowed with Cyclopean Empathy, a method of communication that allows him to form an emotional bond with the survivors that is so personal it is able to manifest physically. Players looking to predict his behavior may find their plans backfiring as they are engulfed by his pain and rage. So here's the Somatic Empathy, which is interesting because it's a non-reveal effect. The Pariah and its prey are connected by a ruinous bond. Whenever an AI is revealed, its revealer suffers the effect of Somatic Empathy listed on that card. And then, this is a trait, so it also says, when a survivor wounds the monster, they reveal the AI move to the wound stack. That's a lot. I would hope that he probably doesn't, maybe he doesn't have that many wounds. This is a big thing, right? If this is on every single card, well, let's look at what it does. But remember, this is not only on a reveal, this is when you wound, you reveal it, right? And then you're going to take the reveal effect. So here's Reciprocal Rage, the Somatic Empathy effect, Suffer Frenzy. So this is just when you wound, you just trigger Frenzy. And then the monster gains +1 damage tokens equal to your +1 strength tokens. If this is every single card, that's going to be quite a bit. But we'll see. Pick target. Survivor. The only way you'd have to work around this by wounding with everyone. So this would punish you for over-wounding with one survivor. But yeah, I don't know. It seems weird. Because +1 strength tokens are good, and you might just get them from other things. Like, you could have Hands of Heat that just gives you strength tokens. There's a lot here that is really bad. I don't know. It feels like this is kind of like... So with this specific thing, this specific one that we've been shown, the monster gains +1 damage tokens equal to your +1 strength tokens. It seems like this fight, you're just going to metagame really, really hard. Like, more so than normal, right? You're going to not headband because you don't want to reveal anything, and then you're not going to bring +1 strength. Like, this feels like you're playing against the mechanics more so than the monster, just from looking at that. Because +1 strength tokens are just bad in general in this, right? Even without you needing to trigger Frenzy and gaining the +1 strength tokens, like, you could have other ones and trigger it via other methods. And getting +1 strength tokens isn't impossible. So then it's the survivor with the highest strength and range, no target creep, we don't know what that does. Full move toward target, attack all survivors in the vortex of rage one at a time. You can see here that it attacks the sides. A lot of original Kingdom Death Monster things don't really attack the two to the side, right, to the flank. This one does. And then before damage, add the target's red affinities to the damage of this attack. Not that big of a deal. Red affinities aren't really something you get a whole bunch of. Should the players find success in repelling the Pariah, he will retreat up the mountain to his lair. Unlike your previous showdowns, here the Pariah's spite and hostility will truly be laid bare. Survivors must engage with the Pariah in his own element, high up in the air in a deadly conflict on the ceiling. Movement and attacking both become restricted as survivors must utilize the Pariah's elaborate system of pythons to traverse and engage with him. Unwary survivors may find themselves grouped together and vulnerable to a zone attack with no nearby handholds to retreat to. Meanwhile, survivors attempting to strike the Pariah must make the difficult decision between maintaining sure footing or attacking on a riskier stance in order to have better leverage. This is a lot here. Sounds like the board will have specific places you want to move to. This sounds like it's really, really interesting, and the minis look really interesting. We'll get down to them. But there is a lot of stuff that this sound like that just introduced. Only being able to move to specific places or suffering consequences, only being able to move on pythons, limiting your movement and attacking, restricting those things, being able to only fight them when you're probably adjacent, or you probably want to not be able to adjacent because a lot of these miniatures here. So yeah, let's go down here. We'll look. Again, these have all been shown off before. As with other engagements on the inverted mountain, losing your grip and falling has potentially lethal consequences as the survivor, or for the survivors. Good preparation can allow survivors to fasten themselves to the ceiling, mitigating the worst consequences of a heavy blow. However, a being endowed with malicious intelligence such as the Pariah may not allow for such safety nets to stand, so be careful lest he severs your supports while you're still dangling in the air. So, this really neat miniature. Look at that. Super cool. Super, super cool. The lantern there is the same one that, or it looks to be the same one that Aya has after she fought Nightmare Ram. So then we also have this survivor. Super cool with her, like, lance. This could be a throwing spear because it's on a rope here, or it just could be a spear that's tied to her so she doesn't drop it. Again, here's arrows, and again, here's a sword person. Now, she also has bows and arrows, as you can see on her back. But, so, the super interesting thing about these is these gear and things must be in the Pariah expansion, right? Because the Pariah is supposed to be a standalone thing. So these weapons, all these things, all these innovations of you creating these ropes and stuff, they all must be in the Pariah, right? If they're only part of Inverted Mountain, then I guess it's a real... So here's some things I was going to talk about, right? Or we'll finish this up. Go down to the bottom. We'll go back and talk about stuff, but this was the very last of it. That brings us to the end of this month's Emotionally Draining Dark Herald. We hope you were able to clear up any misconceptions about the Pariah being a bad guy. After all, he's the only one you can trust. Okay, so here's the thing. They focus so much on Inverted Mountain, but Pariah is supposed to be a Node 1 nemesis. It's supposed to replace the Butcher. Sounds like that's all good for the first 2 times you probably fight him. But for the 3rd time, when you go up this Inverted Mountain and you fight him in his own thing or whatever, this where it gets a little bit wonky, because if you're required to have Inverted Mountain things, it doesn't sound like you could then use him outside of the Inverted Mountain campaign, which is kind of rough. Or you're going to use him in a non-Inverted Mountain campaign, and you're not going to want to make these innovations, but then you're just going to lose to the rank 3, so it's another like situation with the Kingsman, where you might want to include him because it's cool, but then when you get to the Node 3, you're like, well, I didn't really want to do all these other innovations and stuff because they just don't help in anything outside of fighting the Pariah. So I'm not going to do them because I'm not doing an Inverted Mountain campaign. I don't really need to climb around on mountains and stuff. I don't need to worry about all the other things. So I'll just lose to the level 3 Pariah because who cares, right? Or you just never want to use him outside of it because if it's no fun fighting the Node 3, then why would you use him if you don't have to, right? If it's no fun and he's just going to torment your settlement and you can't beat him and he halts your progress, why force you into gameplay that you want to play? So it's almost like it's great for the Inverted Mountain, not so great if you're not going to use Inverted Mountain. And a lot of these Dark Heralds have really focused on Inverted Mountain, which is neat, but at the same time, I kind of backed a lot of these things because I just wanted more expansions to Kingdom Death. I didn't want a whole bunch of Inverted Mountain stuff. The other one is no mention here of the Red Witches campaign, where the Red Witches are supposed to be hunting him down. And I don't think in the last Red Witch update it mentioned the Pariah campaign either. So hopefully that's still a thing, the 5-year campaign, which is also odd because... does it come with Red Witches or does it come with Pariah? I was assuming it would come with Pariah because it didn't mention it in the Red Witches. So I'm guessing that maybe it still is, but you need to own... well, you need to own both in order to do it anyway, but who actually has the campaign in their expansion? Which is, again, weird, since everything's focusing really on Inverted Mountain. A lot of this just talks about as you make up your mountain, as a da-da-da. Like, it's kind of weird. But then at the same time, they talk about the Lantern Light. Where is the one where they talk about Lantern Light? This one. Other strangers have made their way to the Lantern Light before. That's fine. So that sounds like you have a Lantern Horde. So this sounds like it works great with people of the Lantern. But now where's the one where it's like people climb up the mountain? Oh, as you make your way up the Inverted Mountain, right? That's this one. Won't hesitate your... yeah, the prize, school of the empathy, where does it say that? Should players find success in repelling the prize, so that'd be like the first 1 or 2 times, he will retreat up the mountain to his lair. But if you're not near the mountain, unlike your previous showdowns, so it says showdown, so that means it's the level 3. Here the Pariah's spite not still illegal to their lair. Survivors must engage with the Pariah in his own element, high up in the ceiling. Again, why? So if you have to have all these other things from Inverted Mountain to even fight him, It's weird. It's almost like then this is part of the Inverted Mountain campaign. If you can't even fight the level 3 without these other innovations, or like I said, all these other here, all this stuff, the ropes, the pythons, all this other gear that they all have. See, like all these throwing spears, all this stuff would need to be made with patterns in order to stand a chance at fighting him if you're not using Inverted Mountain. There's definitely new bows and stuff. So kind of weird. Hopefully that's all taken into account. But other than that, it's a really, really interesting update. Now, I'm going to do another video talking about the sale. There was a huge sale that went on with all of the pinups, just like it said, but there was also the lantern armor thing for Aya. And I know I said I was going to talk about Badar from last time, but I really wanted to wait until I saw this lantern armor. The lantern armor looks really cool. It's an armor proficiency. I really want to see what it's all about. So I will cover back the 2 shop releases going back. But with that said, that's the update for the Pariah. Good news on the Gambler's Chest. It's going to be done next month, so that's good. Really neat. This stuff seems really good. Depends on how much it costs. Depends on when you can get it. This stuff is really crazy. Beginning, like Lantern Years and stuff. It just depends, right? I'm assuming some of this, like this Halberd Simulacrum here, seems pretty early game. You probably wouldn't really want to get this. It has Unwieldy Bleed 1. So Bleed 1 would mean, yeah, when you do Unwieldy hyphen, you gain Bleed 1. Makes perfect sense to do that. I just don't know why it's just not a semicolon. But still, very neat. So, very cool. This was a very good update. Wasn't a terrible update here for the Gambler's Chest. All the stuff seems to be finished. He said it would be getting close, so next month we will see. As far as Pariah goes, good. It sounded like it works pretty good. The reveal effects seem pretty cool. All the weapon copying, the simulacrums look pretty cool. It all looks like it's basic Lantern, People of Lantern stuff. All those Lantern Halberds Kingsman, the Twilight stuff, the Gold Smoke Knight Hammer. So all that stuff's regular old Twilight, or regular old People of Lanterns. So looks like it works well. Just have to hope that you don't need to like go down an entire useless path just to be able to fight the level 3. But other than that, I thought this was actually a very adequate update. Not the best one. Definitely not the worst one. Came in 4 minutes before the end of the day. Talked about Gambler's Chest being pretty much finished. Perfect. That's all you could really ask for. This was exactly what was pitched. No extra delay. No going back on something he said last time. It was exactly Pariah. Came out on the exact day. Perfect in my book. This is just perfect. If every single one goes in, if next month he just keeps his word, it's over, and we get another just perfect Dark Herald, good. And we'll just continue like that through the rest of the year, and it'll be all good. Pretty much redeemed his Dark Herald project if he keeps it up, right? It doesn't need to be the best, but it just can't be terrible. So, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next Lantern Year.